Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm Rabbi Susan Nanus, and I'm here with Cantor Lisa Peicott and Joey Peicott, little Joey,
Making some noise
also
tonight.
there. And we welcome you to this Erev Shabbat, this Kabbalat Shabbat service. You know, Lisa, this is our 6th week of quarantine, and it struck me that the Israelites were only walking from the Red Sea to Sinai. It only took them 7 weeks. I think we're going to be beating their record. On the other hand, it took them 40 years to get to the Promised Land, and obviously, and hopefully it's not going to take us that long. Speaking of the Promised Land, speaking of Israel, this Shabbat service is, the theme of it is Israel, Eretz Yisrael, because Israel Independence Day is in the coming week. It's next Wednesday, April 29th, and we have some very special program elements having to do with Israel. We're going to begin, though, with candle lighting with the Zipkin family. Cantor Lisa, will you introduce them and invite them?
My pleasure. So we're going to invite the Zipkin families to turn on their cameras. Hi, guys. So nice to see you. So the Zipkins, we have Jenny, Ronan, Eli. Is Maya there? Is she hiding? Oh, no, Maya. And we have Talia. And the Zipkins are a fantastic family from our Bowerman Glazer campus. Their older daughter, Talia, will be sharing some words with us about her Israel experience later on in the service. But we're going to ask you guys to light our Shabbat candles. And if Eli, Talia, and Maya, if you would do us the pleasure of chanting our candle blessing, that would be beautiful. Beautiful. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you. We're going to take a moment. It's customary during Shabbat services that we bless our children. So you guys have your full group there, and I'm going to bring my little son Joey into the picture, and we're going to give them a blessing. So for those of you at home, if you have a boy, we're going to put our hands on our boys' heads, and we're going to say, Yasimcha Elohim ke'Ephraim u'Menashe. And for a girl, Rabbi Nanus?
But before we do that, let's just translate what that means.
Of course.
It means, may God inspire you to live like Ephraim and Manasseh. And I just want to say, people will often wonder, who are Ephraim and Manasseh? Because there are so many other sons in the Torah. Ephraim and Manasseh were the sons of Joseph. And the rabbis, or this is an interpretation, we say that because these are the first brothers who didn't fight. These two boys did not fight. If we look at Joseph and his brothers, he fought. Esau and Jacob fought. There was a rift between Isaac and Ishmael. So these two brothers are the ideal. May you be like them and love each other and support each other. And then if you have a daughter, you put your hands on your daughter now. I have a daughter. She's not here, but this is for her. She's grown up. But spiritually, I'm sending her this blessing. And we say, Yisimech Elohim, Kesara, Kerivka, Kerachel, Uchalea. May God inspire you to live like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And so we know who those women were, and we all say Amen.
Amen.
And now we continue with the welcoming of the Shabbat angels into our midst with the beautiful song Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei
If you're at home, I hope you're singing with Cantor Lisa. The only reason I can't sing is that Zoom makes the singing on Zoom out of sync. But when I'm not on Zoom, I always sing along, and we hope you'll sing along. We want to welcome Joan and Skip Kessler, who are going to be with us for a special blessing later on in the service when we celebrate Skip's birthday. But right now, if you have your Siddur, it would be on page 20. We're going to welcome in the Shabbat bride. You know, there's this tradition that Shabbat is like a wedding, and the Jewish people are the groom, and the Shabbat are the bride, and the Kabbalists used to dress in white like for a wedding and go out into the fields and sing this song, welcoming the Shabbat bride into our midst. So we're going to be singing verses 1, 2, and 9, and it's a special melody, right, Cantor?
Yes. So this is going to be a little different from what we normally do, but this is a melody all the way to us from Israel, from Jerusalem, Kol Hanshama Synagogue, a Reform progressive congregation in Jerusalem. And this is based on a Sufi melody. So it's very rhythmic, and I hope that you all enjoy it.
We rise, if we can, to welcome in the Shabbat bride into our midst.
Boi v'shalom, ateret ba'ala, gam besimcha u'betzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala, lechadoti likrat kala, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabelai, lechadoti likrat kala, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabelai. Last time, lechadoti, lechadoti likrat kala, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabelai, lechadoti likrat kala, yalalai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabelai.
So beautiful. Thank you so much. So we continue now with the Hatzi Kaddish, which is a special prayer that divides the Kabbalat Shabbat service from the evening service. This is the Hatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועל מה דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה, ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן, יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעלם ולעל מעל מיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאה ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לילה מנקו בחטא ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה, ואימרו Amen.
We know that people say you can't really understand Israel unless you've been there yourself. And a lot of people in our community have been there, others have not. But it seems to change people in a way that is hard to explain. And Lisa, would you now tell us about Talia?
Yes, so Talia is a graduate of Bowerman East. She is now a 7th grader at Windward. We're going to invite them back onto screen, and Talia is going to share some words and about how her 6th grade trip to Israel really changed and affected her relationship with Israel. Hi, Talia. So nice to have you. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, so when I went on the Israel trip last year, I felt as if I were being into a really big hug by Judaism. I was able to explore what being a Jew means to me. And especially when I visited the Western Wall, I felt very close to myself as a Jew, and I felt very close to the Jewish community. My Western Wall experience was even more fulfilling because I was there on Shabbat. I saw a group of people singing and celebrating Shabbat together, and the Bowerman community even joined in with their own small singing circle. Coming back from Israel, I felt more connected to my Jewish identity than I had before I went. And I'm very grateful to have experienced being in Israel, as it was a very amazing experience for me to become more connected with Judaism in myself and as a whole. One thing that's very similar between American and Israeli Jews is that Judaism brings them all together to form one large community. And when saying the prayers at the Western Wall, I felt part of the small Bowerman community as well as the larger Jewish community. So now I will ask you to please rise if you are able to for the Baruch Hu as we say our call to prayer, just like the millions of people around the world are saying together on Shabbat this evening. Though we are separated, we unite as one.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. La, 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 la. Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Be'olam Va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Be'olam
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, v'chachma poteach sharim, u'v'tvuna mishana itim u'machalif et hazmanim. I think this prayer is so meaningful now because it talks the way that God creates darkness and light, that time changes, that there is a cycle. And when we're in a time of darkness, this prayer reminds us that there is a dawn, there is a sunlight, and that we wouldn't even appreciate the light, unfortunately, without the darkness. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבי.
Amen. So the word for love is ahava, and this song, Ahavat Olam, I've talked about it before, is about God's love for the Jewish people by giving us the Torah. But tonight, the cantor is going to sing it to the tune of a love song, a beautiful love song. Do you want to elaborate a little?
Sure. This is the beautiful Israeli song, Erev Shel Shoshanim, Night of Roses, music by Yosef Hadar and text by Moshe Dor. And just as the rabbi said that this is really God's love song to the people of Israel, what better way to put those words of love than to a song of love?
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, נגי יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
We join together in the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
We continue with the chanting of our love for God, the V'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God. You know, I always think it's interesting that God self-identifies, not as the God who took you to Israel or created the world, but the God who freed the slaves. I brought you out of Egypt. That's how, even in the 10 Commandments, I am the God who took you out of the land of Egypt. That if we're going to be thinking that we are created in the image of God is to help the oppressed, to help liberate those who have needs, who are underprivileged, who are wanting, who are suffering. That is the image that God projects, and that is something that we take upon ourselves. Now, to talk about something a little lighter, I know, Lisa, that you went to Israel on birthright.
I did. That was my first time in Israel, it was actually 25.
Oh, 25. And so what was that like, and how did it have changed you?
It was incredible. It's funny. I have two stories, which I think kind of explains just the vast array that is Israel. My first story is that I grew up in the conservative movement. And when I went on my birthright trip, there was a mixture of students who grew up Reform, and then there were a lot of students who had secular identities, had never really been to temple, but they had a Jewish parent and they wanted to explore their homeland. And so I became kind of the de facto song leader for my bus, for my group. And that was one of the experiences that after having done that, after leading a Shabbat service and leading Shabbat morning prayers, we had a B'nai Mitzvah at the Kotel for all of the people who had never had one, and I helped to lead that. But that really solidified in me that when I came back, I explored cantorial school, something that had always kind of been in the background of my mind, but I'd always focused on performance and opera and musical theater. But that experience of being able to lead the Jewish community in Israel really solidified my pathway to where I am now. So I owe that trip to Birthright so much for my current identity. And then the other story I have is not such a positive, but I remember that when I led that Friday night service at our little motel that was outside of the Kotel, we then went to experience Shabbat with the rest of the community. And it was mostly Orthodox yeshiva boys. And our little group of birthwriters decided that we were going to sing Osei Shalom and dance around. And I actually had a guard come up to me and tell me that I couldn't sing and dance because I was a woman. It was offending people. Wow. And that was a really powerful moment for me to appreciate the way that I had been brought up and appreciate my abilities as a woman. So I think that even solidified even more that as a woman that I had a responsibility to lead. And I've been back since, and I've davened with Women of the Wall, which is an incredible experience working towards egalitarian prayer space at the Kotel. And so much of where I've ended up in my journey, I owe to Israel and just the incredible time that I had.
Thank you. That is great.
Of course.
So speaking of singing, we continue now with the song that the Israelites sang together. And I'm sure the women sang and danced. So they were very egalitarian in the old days, in the Israelite times. The women, in fact, led the dancing and the singing, the Mi Chamocha.
So this is an oldie but a goodie, not an Israeli tune, but something that I think you'll all recognize. Bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam, ya ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam, I die 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 die, ya ba bim bam, I die 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 die,
וגלום יד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גל ישראל.
Amen. And this prayer we need more than ever right now. Grant us, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel for your name's sake and be our help. Shield us and shelter us. Defend us against illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore, and protect us from this illness. And may we all come out healthy and strong.
ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום, מעתה ועד עולם, ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורס סוכת שלום, עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל, הפורס סוכת שלום, עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל ירושלים.
Definitely have to thank Birthright for making you a cantor.
Thank you. I thank Birthright for that.
Yes. So you want to talk about Vishamru?
Yes. So this is a beautiful melody from Israel. The Rabbi Shlomo Karlebach, who is known well within our circle, and was really responsible for creating a renewal of Judaism for those who had left the fold. He ran his own moshav where they sang nothing but beautiful melodies and really brought spirit and life into our prayers. There's also a not so great side, but for tonight, we're going to focus on his music. And this is his meditative take on Vishamru. We're used to Vishamru jumping up and down and saying Shabbat. And if we really think about it, when Shabbat was created, there was probably this stillness within the earth. The birds were chirping. There's midrashim about the stillness of the days of creation. And so this is a beautiful take on what that stillness must have been.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השיעי שבת ויהי נפש.
That is so beautiful. And we continue now with the Amidah, the standing prayer, the silent prayer. First we sing together, and then we have our own moments of meditation.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi teilatecha, Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibur ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei Hakol, ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה, רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, תומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל.
We continue now for a few moments of silence with our own personal prayers and meditations, unburdening ourselves and opening our heart to God and expressing and asking for what we need and what we hope for. We continue now with our song of peace, Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב Tasim leolam.
Thank you. So now we're going to take a moment to give a special blessing, a birthday blessing to someone in our community, someone who's on our board of directors and who has contributed so much and is actually the executive director of the American Jewish Committee, is it? What? Wait, you need to unmute yourself. Somebody needs to unmute Skip.
It's in a different place.
There we go.
Hi, Skip.
Hello. How's the
what is-
baby?
He's
baby-
great. He's delicious.
I've been thinking about it and watching you.
Thank you.
What do you do for AJC? What is it?
I'm not involved in AJC.
What is it? Which one is it? It's what
Most,
are you?
mostly the temple and Karsh.
Oh, Karsh, I thought you were involved. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, Mazel Tov, happy birthday.
Thank
you.
you.
Are very involved with the temple and Karsh. And hi, Joan, his wife as well. How are you doing with this quarantine?
We have much togetherness. This is our 43rd day of self-isolation. And this is our fourth swimming. We have Shabbat at 4:00 with our kids and grandkids. And, it's just, we're figuring out how to make life work and how to enjoy life in these very strange times we're in.
And is there a piece of wisdom that you have garnered or gathered or come with from this time of quarantine? Is there a piece of wisdom you can share, either one of you, with us?
Well, my family's fortunate enough to be comfortable. We have food coming into our house, and thank God we're all healthy. But we need to be real mindful that the community we're in and the larger community is not as well off. And it's up to us to do what we can to provide for them in terms of food, clothing, shelter, and all the necessities now more than ever. And, everybody who is listening, I would hope, would think about what they can do to make life better for some people who are not as well off as we are. I mean, unfortunately, the people who have the essential jobs are the people who need to have those jobs in order to get by from paycheck to paycheck. And we need to be as thoughtful and mindful of them as we can.
And we have a lot of people coming to the Car Center right now, I would presume.
Right. That's right. A tremendous number.
Yes.
Tremendous. So we all need to be supportive of the Car Center, our own temple social action center. Well, Skip, I was just looking up according to the Kabbalists, a blessing ignites the holy sparks within the person who is being blessed. So I am hoping to ignite your holy sparks, which I know are always shining through, as I give you this blessing and a mazel tov for this birthday. Do you want to say what year, how old you are? Or you don't have to.
75.
75. It's a beautiful, that's the Diamond Jubilee, correct?
Yeah. Happy
Jubilee.
to be here.
Misha Berach Avotenu v'Imotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah. May the God who blessed our ancestors bless you, Skip, with health and strength and a continued long life, and the fulfillment and joy, continued joy from your children and your grandchildren, and the ability to weather whatever comes into your life. When it's difficult, you find the strength and the fortitude, and when it's wonderful, that you find the joy and can just surely give into the sweetness of life. May God give you success and your dreams be fulfilled as you go forward. I know it's about service. Continue to help others, and may they be blessed with your presence and the work of your hands, the work of your heart, the work of your mind. And let us say, Amen. And Lisa is going to give you the priestly blessing.
יברכך אדוני וישמרך.
May God bless you and watch over you.
יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך.
May God shine light into your life and be gracious to you.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך Shalom.
May God lift you into a life of good deeds, and may your life be filled with the most precious gift of all, the gift of peace. Amen. And we'll sing the Shahatianu for 75 years.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Amen.
And
Happy
how did you-
birthday.
Happy birthday. How did you celebrate?
Well, we celebrated with a Zoom birthday party, of course.
Of course.
And what Joan had arranged was we have 2 sons and 2 daughters-in-law and 4 grandkids. So everybody made a cake at their house. And we had our 2 sons, 2 daughters-in-laws, 4 grandkids, my sister-in-law, my brother and his wife, and we were all on Zoom, and it was a very special birthday party.
Well, I'm glad it was so special, and may next year you all be together or be able to hug and kiss each other, and may we all, be healthy and safe and vaccinated.
Yes.
Amen.
And let
Thank
us say
you
amen.
so
Yeah.
much. Shabbat Shalom.
My pleasure.
So we're going to continue now to say more blessings for those in our lives who needs a blessing of healing. Spiritual healing, emotional healing, physical healing with the Misha Berach. And so before we begin, if there is someone in your life or several people in your life who need this blessing, I want to take a moment now and ask you to say those names out loud. And I'm going to give the names of people in our congregation who also need these blessings. Mike Gerson, Dylan Harper, Bert Lane, Robbie Shechet, Jerry McIntyre, Bob Gottesman, Tony Loader, Dave Gautreau, Michael Hebert, and Diane Ring. And we take them all into our hearts and we bless everyone who needs healing with the Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekol HaBracha Ve'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekod HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
This evening, we have a very special guest. Thank you so much. A very special guest all the way from Tel Aviv. He's my good friend, Mark Kornblatt. I realize that we've been friends for 40 years. We started when we were 10, right? And hi, Mark, good morning. What time is it in Israel right now?
Like 9 hours later.
4:48.
4:48. And the reason I invited Mark to join us is because he is an Oleh Hadash. He is a new immigrant. He recently, how long ago? A few months? August. So less than a year ago, he emigrated to Israel, and he is an Oleh Hadash, a new immigrant. And Mark is a filmmaker also, and he has made a series of little webisodes about being a new immigrant and about many other things about life in Israel. They're quite charming. And the first thing I want to ask you, Mark, is why did you decide to move to Israel? As an American from New Jersey.
Yeah, it's like the question they asked the Rabbi Shammai and Hillel, tell me everything you can about Judaism by standing on one foot. Exactly. The short answer was our children had made Aliyah about 5 years ago. So that was one reason. Maybe grandchildren. Bali lachats, as we say, without pressure. The second reason was we had spent a year here between 2016 and 17, and to be with our children, because our daughter was here and she was planning to go to grad school. She's now at Berkeley, and we wanted to be together as a family. My wife had retired from being a professor. I'd been a public school teacher. And during that year, and I had been, my first time in Israel was in 1971. The second time I went, first time I was with the World Zionist Federation as a student at a kibbutz, like the student who was just talking about her experience. And then the second time I went was thanks partly to you. I went as a madrich for the NIFTY program for the National Federation of Temple Youth. So I'd been going to Israel for many years. I speak Hebrew. My brother's been here for 30 years. But there was something about this last time when we were here for a year, and I lived in New York for 10 years. That's how you and I know each other. When my wife looked at me and she said, you know what? What's really cool here, even beyond New York where we met, is the default here is Jewish. We are comfortable whether we're religious, whatever political stripe we are. At the end of the day, we're Jewish. And we felt that stronger bond this time. So children, the stronger Jewish connection, and we're in the last chapters of our life. Mazel tov again to Skip, but also we're youthful, and my wife did a second career. She's a hospice nurse. I became a teacher after being an actor and a writer, and we came for the harpaka. Harpaka in Hebrew means the adventure. So just like Rabbi Akiva went back to school when he was in his 40s to learn to read, we're here. We didn't come just to retire. We came here to contribute. We've worked just recently, we're giving out food in the refugee community, in the Shapira community. And we really feel connected to the people, and we're having another chapter.
That is a great answer. And was it hard to leave Wisconsin, where you had lived for how many years? 25 years at least?
Yeah. So I'm from New Jersey. Went to school there. Started out in yeshiva of different people from different movements. Went to Brandeis. Lived in New York until I got married at 30. So in fact, I've spent more time in Wisconsin than anywhere in my life. Love Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin, considered the Berkeley of the Midwest, very liberal, raised 2 children there. I love it there. I'd like to go back to visit, but we don't really miss it. 31 years in one place, pretty good run. You're in LA. How many shows have gone that long? I don't even think Cats has run that long. Maybe the Fantastics. But at the end of the day, we love it. It's a place. We love New York. I love New Jersey. But we're here now.
You're in town.
And with all the connections, I have 5 nephews and a niece of all persuasions, from Haredi to Chiloni, from ultra-Orthodox to secular. We have friends here, a friend, as you know, Muli, who lives in Herzliya, from our days when you and I met. So in fact, my parents have both passed. My mother, while we were living here 3 years ago, my father just this past November. I actually had to go back twice since we made Aliyah in August. In fact, when I moved here, I came to be with my mother because it was my mom who sent us to yeshiva. My dad was secular. My mom who sent us with blessings to come on the Zionist Youth Federation program. My mom who adored Israel. So in fact, coming to Israel is coming home.
Oh, that's beautiful. So as a filmmaker, you've been making these wonderful little webisodes, and you did an entire series called Oleh Hadash about becoming a new immigrant. And we're going to see, they're wonderful. All of them are great. This one is about the day that you actually left and made Aliyah. So we're going to watch this little clip right now, hopefully, with the help of our wonderful communications department. So this is in the middle. You got to go back.
Yeah. While you're queuing up, let me just say, since I'm talking to people in filmland, this is entirely a handheld iPhone.
Is this where it starts?
Just about, yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Comment? Ooh, I'm getting ready for the next stage, that's for sure. So here we are, JFK Airport, getting ready to register with the organization Nefesh B'Nefesh and load our bags on. Mood check. Good. So we'll see you on the flight. Yeah. Thank you, Nefesh B'Nefesh. For the record, all this crowd that we see behind me, most of these people are not Mekyalia. They're like family members who come in to cheer people on.
It's 2,000 years of our people's wandering. You are coming home.
So here we are on the plane. They gave us premium economy. We've had more leg room. People have been very friendly. Food has been great, right?
I don't have the same opinion of the food, but I have the same opinion of everything else.
So the question arises, where should we put this new Ola Hadash, Ola Hadasha sticker? Do you put it in the right wing and then, you signal with your right wing? You put it in your left wing, you signal your left wing? So we decided we're going to just put it close to our hearts. Tada! Get the gift!
I'm so excited!
Thank you! Thank the family, the brother, the son, the wife.
Our partnership with the Jewish Nation for Israel is a dedicated joint effort. And it was a wonderful Rabbi here who said to me that Hamid means compassion. You are the great show of compassion when you refer to your homeland and your Jerusalem. Yes. Very proud. 11, sorry. 11.
אני מר קרמר ואשתי יהודית ביחד. So we're outside the airport. I'm happy to carry my own bags to the taxi, but this young woman says, no, it's part of the experience.
Exactly.
Take a breath, let someone carry your bags for you.
We take care of the New Orleans, that's our job.
Yeah, we feel guilty about this. I mean, where are you treated like this? We went to citizenship, we did it legally for all my American friends. We went through all the proper channels, but at the end of the day, they're giving us SIM cards, they're giving us money to put in our bank account, they're putting us in a cab, they're treating us really well. Everyone in the world should be treated like this.
Sound was not great for that. We keep working on that, but the idea that they were so
That's not my film, that one you just said.
Yeah, really, you couldn't really, unfortunately, the sound was not great. We thought it would be better, but they were they gave you so many things when you came to Israel. What did they offer you as a new immigrant?
They do a lot of things once you are deemed, a kosher Jewish immigrant. They gave us 6 months of financial support. Not a lot, but for some people, it could help pay their rent. Each of us got a payment of, I want to say 2,000 shekels. I forget exactly, but there was a couple we got a little more. The Nefesh B'Nefesh, which means soul to soul, which is the organization that works with the government to bring new Olim. They were there as a resource. אני מעדיף לדבר עברית בדרך כלל, אז נפש בנפש הם מדברים רק אנגלית שם, יש לחצים על השפה. You can tell I like to speak Hebrew. And Nefesh B'Nefesh is really an English-oriented place. So for me, if we really needed a question about something with klita, something with absorption, something with passports, they were just an excellent resource. So they give us that. We get 500 hours paid for Ulpan, for Hebrew instruction. And again, I've had Hebrew, but going back for refresher and getting further advanced, that's a nice chunk of change. There are a couple of public ones you can go to. You just give them a voucher, or you go to a private Ulpan class and you pay, and then the government reimburses you. Of course, everyone gets health care, which is an unbelievable thing. So just those things alone are a shot in the arm for a beginning. For us, we came with resources, so we weren't so needy as some others who might make a much more adventurous choice without many resources.
So I want to ask you, we don't have a lot of time, but I just wanted to ask you 2 questions. The first one is, how do you feel as an American in Israel? How are Israelis relating to you? And then the second one is, how is it to be battling or be quarantining against the coronavirus in Israel? So just those 2 questions.
It's a deep question. Again, I've been going to Israel. I probably had come a dozen times. I was a volunteer. I'm comfortable with the language. I said all those warm and fuzzy things about home. But at the end of the day, Jewish and everything and comfortable with a lot of the cues, I'm a foreigner. I'm an American. Eric Einstein made a really funny video years ago. It's like they showed it in almost all the Ulpanim. He and this other famous actor are, I think this may have been made in the 70s. They are portraying all the different groups that came to Israel, and each group that comes, they're the new ones, they're the greenies, everyone looks down on. And after there for a little while, all of a sudden they're saying, who are these new people? So each wave, whether it's, the first ones who came from the Shoah, whether they came from Yemen, whether they came the Russians, each wave, they are the other. But eventually, they're all assimilated. So there's an American wave. It's come and go. We're part of that. So we're the other. When we walk around the streets, let's face it, even in Tel Aviv, which is like New York, we're Ashkenazi, and the general environment feels darker, more Middle Eastern. It reminds me years ago when I traveled to Spain and I was like this blonde young guy, taller than most of the people. So we sometimes feel left out. Yes, you hear English and you see people like us, but the default is still Israeli. We're Israeli, but we're not mamash Israeli. So we feel different that way. But a couple wonderful things. After all the times I visited, I was a tayar. I was a tourist. We're not tourists anymore. We're voting members, and we can express our own opinion, and no one can say, who are you to tell us you're an American? No, I am an American. I will always be an American, but mamash, I'm an Israeli now.
Okay.
So I have all the rights to complain and to try and make things better. Because one thing we've been doing, I've been reaching out to my building where everyone's a stranger, trying to bring this American feeling. And right before the lockdown, we had 12 people from our building. They all thanked us and said, thanks for bringing your American spirit here to try and create community. Because everyone in this building, they're separate. Just like in New York, a lot of times in many buildings, I didn't know the people in my buildings in New York City. So I'm trying to reach out that way. So that's beautiful. As far as the hasger, the shut-in, or the mashber, the crisis. The corona experience here is in some ways similar to to any place else in the world, and in other ways different, just in terms of numbers. I'm originally from New Jersey. It's got 8.2 million people there. Last time I checked, there were well over 4,000 deaths. Israel, yes, every life is crucial here. It's such a small country, so a war that loses even a couple of soldiers, it's a big deal. There are 8.8 million people here. There aren't even 200 deaths yet. So in terms of where things are, and I don't want to get into the politics of things, we have one country where you're from, where things were minimized, and look where your numbers are. And here it was made into more of a crisis, and even the new government was formed from it. But at the end of the day, they're doing pretty well. And again, sorry, Ellen DeGeneres, we're not in prison. We can still get out. And my goal has been very much like what you're doing right now, with the beautiful singing from Lisa and the birthday wishes and the young student who just been to Israel. We're going on. When you go to Yad Vashem, you don't end with the Holocaust. You end with Yom HaGiburim. At the end, they're celebrating the people who fought back. I don't see what we're doing as fighting. I see we're doing joy.
Thank you so much, Mark. I wish we had more time to talk, but it's time we have to conclude our service. We really appreciate you getting up so early in the morning. And I would like to bring you back to show more of your films when we can get the format better, where we can see it better. It's not a great thing. So I'm gonna just thank you so much. It was so interesting. And we're just gonna have a little more to go in our service. The next thing we're gonna do is because we're in the middle of counting the Omer. Cantor, do you want to talk about that for a moment?
Sure. So we're about to do the blessing for the counting of the Omer, and tonight marks the 16th day of the Omer. The Omer represents a bit of barley that we used to bring in the ancient world, and instead what we've turned this into through the Kabbalists, thank you to Svat, is that it becomes a lesson in how to improve ourselves spiritually and emotionally and mentally. And so we're asked to focus on different aspects, different characteristics of God that we're supposed to emulate in our own life. So I'm about to do the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirshanu b'tzotav, v'tzivanu al sefirat haomer, hayom 16 yom, שהם שני שבועות ושני ימים לעומר. Today is 16 days, which is 2 weeks and 2 days of the Omer, and we count the Omer leading up to our next holiday of Shavuot, where we receive Torah, where we receive our knowledge as Jewish people.
Thank you so much. Just a quick announcement before we conclude our service. Well, first of all, thank you to all our guests. Thank you to the Zipkin family. Thank you to Mark. Thank you to Cantor Lisa for her beautiful singing. And we were so happy to have the Kesslers with us this evening. And we just hope you've been getting our daily emails for all the information and all the classes. We are going to be starting a Hebrew class, a reading Hebrew class starting next week. And if you need a calendar, or you need more information, just go to our website, wbtla.org/WBT at-home. And that's where everything is. We now are going to continue with the Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Now is the time that we remember those who are no longer with us. as we prepare to say Kaddish for those who have passed away. Our tradition is to begin with those who have died during the past 30 days, the Shloshim, and they are Les Bateman, Sue Dorff, Sylvia Fox, Paul Goldberg, Fred Goldman, Martin Grover, Ethel Kahn, Larry Cartiganer, Robert Klein, William Sandy Lausheim, John Ressler, Betty Rosenberg, Jeffrey Sanderson, Shirley Schwartz, James Stern, Andrew Wolf, Ron Ziff. We also remember those whose yortzeit is this week. This is the anniversary of their deaths this week. And we remember Ruth Alexander, Leslie Bell, Zach Bell, Craig Burkus, Reva Burke, Lynn Bernstein, Edward Blackman, Jean Bosley, Anne Cezanne, Louise Citron, Solomon Cohen, Sylvia Dubik, Eugene Dubik, Jane Eisen, Arnie Engman, Anne Finkel, David Fisher, Ida Frankel, Frederica Freund, Janice Jerry, Rachel Gertz, Sydney Gertz, Hyman Glassberg, Diane Glazer, Stephen Golan, Florence Gullman, Judith Greenwald, Catherine Handel, Richard Jager, Rose Caden, Sanford Kaplan, Irving Kay, Louis Klein, Larry Critt, Raymond Kurtzman, Eleanor Kuttner, Rose Madoff, Sydney Madoff, Shirley Minter, Julius Michel, Renee Motley, Sylvia Neiman, Helen Orland, Abby Perlman, Francine Flug, Marcia Flug, Marshall Redman, Eli Remes, Celia Rochester, Philip Rochman, Nathan Rosenblatt, Erwin Rothman, Mildred Sachs, Inga Seabaum, Don Senich, Benjamin Chappelle, Gloria Silber, Raymond Slotkin, Carly Stein, Myrtle Sugarman, Joan Stern Schwitzenbaum, Jean Tabak Bank, Theodore Urban, Arnold Walder, Terry Walder, Alma Walker, Sheila Wallach, Julia Warren, Marvin Worth, Hannah Zoller, Edward Zimmer, Miriam Zink, Bernard Sweeman. If there are additional names to add, please say them out loud now in your homes. We also remember those who gave their lives defending the United States of America and the state of Israel, and those who have died in senseless violence or from hunger or from illness from the coronavirus. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing. As we say the Kaddish now, if you are able to, please stand. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei techol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'mei maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei l'kudusha brichu. Ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, damiram v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel and all the world, and let us say, amen.
Amen. We're going to conclude our service with the words of Oseh Shalom. This is a melody written by Nurit Hirsch, an Israeli, in 1969 for a Hasidic music festival. She won 3rd place, and this melody has become almost Mi Sinai, as if it was that we heard it at Sinai for the first time, and it is stuck in our identity as Jews. These are the words of Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom
Ay, 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 what happened?
יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Have a beautiful week, a week of peace, a Shabbat of peace, and a week of health and strength. Thank you, Lisa. We're going to conclude with the Kiddush, okay?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh זכר יציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. לחיים.
L'chaim, everyone.
And we'll end with motzi because I'm about to go eat my dinner. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom.